A young single mother and her little son were living in a place that felt both familiar and challenging. The day began as the sun rose high, casting a sharp heat and humidity over their modest surroundings. The climate was intense, oppressive in its warmth, making the air thick and heavy to breathe. Yet, amid these difficult external conditions, there was an unwavering sense of hope and determination radiating from the mother. She was committed to completing their home, making it a safe haven amidst the struggles of life. This was not simply a house to her. It was a fortress against uncertainty, a place where her child could grow and flourish free from danger and discomfort. The mother and son shared a bond woven with love and mutual care, each aware of the other's presence and needs in daily life. Though the boy was still small, he exhibited a remarkable tenderness for his mother. He played quietly and obediently, an understanding of this delicate balance clear in his behavior. When his mother focused on her work, he would amuse himself contentedly, yet always close enough to sense her presence. The little boy's affection and respect for his mother were deeply touching. He would call out for her softly, his voice a blend of curiosity and need, especially when her attention was momentarily elsewhere. Every day brought its challenges, but the mother was determined to give her child a life better than the one she had known. She often wondered what the future held for the two of them, the unknown stretching indefinitely ahead. In her heart was a fragile but tenacious hope that the path they were carving together would lead to stability and happiness. She dreamt of a future where her son would thrive, where their struggles would be behind them, leaving only memories of survival and hard-won peace. The work to complete their home was tangible and physical. Walls needed to be finished for safety and shelter. These walls represented more than bricks and mortar. They were barriers against the perils of the outside world, a promise of security in an often uncertain environment. Every nail driven, every plank fitted into place was a step closer to that dream becoming reality. The mother pushed through fatigue and the relentless heat, her resolve firm despite hardships. She understood the importance of safe shelter, not just as a roof over their heads, but as a symbol of hope and stability for her son. Her life was a delicate balance of managing work and caregiving. Her hands were always busy, sometimes gathering materials, other times cooking or cleaning. Never did she rest long before turning back to the tasks that demanded attention. The child watched and learned, sometimes lending his small hands to assist, eager to contribute however he could. His spirit was bright even when tiredness threatened to pull him down, embodying the resilience that his mother so desperately needed. Their daily existence was also punctuated by moments of connection and longing. The boy's inquiries about his mother's whereabouts, particularly after trips or absences, revealed a deep emotional bond and the comfort he found in her presence. When she was away, even briefly, the house felt empty and quiet, the boy's calls echoing through the still rooms as he searched for her. These intervals of separation were challenging for both, underscoring the importance of togetherness in their small world. Visitors occasionally passed through their lives, offering support or companionship. A kind man recently returned from a business trip who showed concern and generosity towards the mother and child. His presence brought warmth and encouragement during a time when loneliness could be heavy. He brought gifts, clothes and milk for the child, symbolizing a community's small but crucial acts of kindness. The mother accepted this aid with gratitude, aware that such gestures helped lighten their burden and renewed her faith in human goodness. Behind the scenes, the mother also secured essential items for her child from neighbors and local sellers. Practical concerns like clothing and nutrition were always on her mind. She sought out small sets of clothes suitable for her young son and found provisions like canned milk to sustain him. These transactions were modest but vital, reflecting the ongoing search for security in the details of daily life. Each piece of clothing or box of milk was a thread in the fragile fabric of their survival. Despite the heat, exhaustion, and worries, the mother persevered. She navigated the complexities of her surroundings, negotiating with others and managing the physical demands of their shelter's construction. She carefully measured and fitted each piece of material, ensuring the home would be robust and functional. Her hands were steady, her purpose clear. Sometimes she enlisted help for heavy lifting or cutting timber, recognizing that collaboration made difficult tasks manageable. Every completed step toward finishing the house was a victory over adversity. Throughout this process, the child's presence brought both challenges and motivation. His naps were sporadic due to occasional disturbances or excitement, but his happy, playful spirit was a constant reminder of why the mother worked so hard. When he was awake, he wanted to participate or simply be close, sharing his mother's time even as she labored. Their relationship was a dynamic of give and take, patience and care, woven tightly into the fabric of their day-to-day lives. Once the physical structure was nearly complete, thoughts naturally turned to what would come next. The mother anticipated finding employment, aware of her responsibilities to provide for her son. She understood that the house was only one piece of a larger puzzle. Stability required income and ongoing effort. The season was right for work, and she planned to take every opportunity to earn a living once the home was secure. This hopeful outlook was balanced with the pressures of her current reality, but she held on to the promise of progress. Her son, though still young, was growing more independent and aware of the world beyond their home. Knowing when he was tired or awake, he voiced his needs plainly, asking to be carried or played with when he felt restless or sleepy. The mother carefully managed these moments, comforting him or encouraging him to rest as needed. This attentiveness was a constant thread running through their tight-knit relationship. The days passed much like this, a rhythm of work, care, and small joys amid enduring hardships. The heat bore down relentlessly, often making physical labor feel even more daunting. Yet the spirit of determination and the bond between mother and child transformed these challenges into a shared mission. The home was not just a structure, but a testament to their resilience and love. Throughout this story, the mother's unwavering courage shines through. She rises each day to face the difficulties ahead, motivated by the desire to provide a better life for Tony. Her story is one of quiet strength, of persistence in the face of adversity, and of love that drives her to build not only a shelter, but a future. This narrative is a powerful portrait of hope amid hardship, reflecting the lived experience of many who struggle but never give up on their dreams. The foundation of their home was nearly complete, the walls rising sturdily under the scrutiny and care of the mother and those who assisted her. Yet the home was more than wood and nails. It was a manifestation of her fierce determination and maternal devotion. Building this shelter was an act of faith and courage, a testament to her resolve to protect and nurture her son above all else. The intense heat and humidity that enveloped their surroundings seemed a distant concern compared to the greater challenges she faced daily. In this small, precarious world, the mother embodied countless virtues that many mothers in similar circumstances shared: unwavering love, extraordinary strength, immense sacrifice, and an ever-present hope for a better future amid hardship. Each day was a continuous negotiation between aspiration and reality, her resolve never faltering even when her body and spirit felt the weight of exhaustion. Her son, named Tony, was a living reason to persist. Though young, Tony exhibited awareness and sensitivity beyond his years, attuned to the needs and feelings of his mother. His docile and cooperative nature reflected an understanding born of their shared circumstances. Tony's love for his mother was intuitive and genuine. His peaceful play beside her was an unspoken reassurance of their bond. Despite their poverty and the hardships of their environment, the warmth of their relationship was a strong pillar sustaining them both. Their modest home was set against a backdrop of adversity characteristic of many impoverished families in rural and peri-urban Vietnam. Heat waves bore down with fierce intensity, often exhausting the mother as she worked tirelessly to complete what their previous dwelling lacked. The completion of the walls was a symbolic and practical milestone, walls that would protect them from storm and sun, walls that would shield them from intrusion and danger. It was about safety, stability, and the dignity that comes from having a place to call home. Occasional kind-hearted visitors brought rays of warmth in the midst of this struggle. One such visitor was a man who had recently returned from a business trip. His arrival was marked not just by greetings, but by tangible help, clothes for the child, and milk to nourish him. These gestures, while small individually, were monumental in a world where resources were scarce and every penny counted. Gratitude filled the mother's heart, but the kindness extended to them also highlighted the precariousness of their situation, the fine line between survival and despair. The mother's daily routine was regimented and unrelenting. She divided her time between physically demanding tasks and caregiving duties. Every day called for balancing construction work, household chores, and attending to Tony's needs. Her movements were precise and purposeful, her hands roughened by labor yet gentle with her son. Her care extended beyond shelter and food. It encompassed the protection of his health and spirit. The medicine she secured for Tony had already saved him from illness, an early victory in their ongoing battle with poverty and vulnerability. Yet beneath this surface of practical concerns ran deep currents of emotional fortitude and sacrifice. The mother was aware she was the sole pillar holding their fragile life together. Her joy was tempered by worry, especially about the uncertainty of the future. Whether Tony would have opportunities she never did depended largely on her success in providing stability now. Every plank nailed, every wall erected, was a step toward that elusive hope. Their conversations, sparse but meaningful, revealed the emotional texture of their lives. Tony's frequent inquiries about his mother's whereabouts when she was away, even briefly, spoke to his need for reassurance and connection. For the mother, these moments underscored the weight of responsibility she carried. Beyond the physical work was the emotional labor of maintaining their bond and nurturing his sense of security. Their relationship was not just one of care, but of mutual dependence, each sustaining the other through hardship and hope. The mother knew well the sacrifices she had made and would continue to make. She had relinquished personal comfort and aspirations to ensure her child's welfare. Her own needs were secondary, often neglected or abandoned. She faced the daily grind not only of poverty, but of societal marginalization. A single mother in a changing Vietnam, navigating a complex social landscape that often offered minimal support. This context added layers to her struggle, heightening the significance of her resilience. Work opportunities in the community, when they came, were modest but essential. The mother was prepared to seek employment once the home was finished, aware that earning income was the next crucial phase in their fight for survival. The seasonal nature of work added uncertainty, yet she approached this with a pragmatic mindset tempered by hope. She understanding that a better life required labor and perseverance. Her plan was simple but vital, stabilizing their living space first, then pursuing work to support ongoing needs and perhaps one day, greater security. Tony's presence in these plans was central. His needs influenced every decision and action. His youthful innocence and growing awareness created moments of warmth amid the hard labor and worry. His playful requests for attention, his sleepy eyes after scant naps, and his simple joys in food or a completed project were reminders of what was at stake. For the mother, each success in their daily life was magnified by her desire to shield Tony from hardship, while preparing him to face the world with strength and dignity. This story echoes the experiences of countless mothers in similar positions, women who quietly bear immense hardships while cultivating love, hope, and resilience. Their lives often unfold away from the spotlight, but their strength and sacrifice are monumental. These women embody endurance and maternal love, shaping the futures of their children through acts of courage and commitment that transcend their immediate circumstances. With the house nearly finished, a new chapter was imminent. The mother's thoughts turned toward the future: work, income, education, and the health and happiness of Tony. Despite the many challenges, she held on to a vision of progress and possibility. The walls surrounding them were not just physical barriers, but walls of hope and a foundation for a better life. The story of this single mother and her son, though marked by struggle and uncertainty, is ultimately one of unyielding love, and the human capacity to endure and hope against all odds. This extended continuation of the story delves deeper into the mother's experiences, exploring her emotional world, the socioeconomic context, and themes of sacrifice, resilience, and hope. If you would like, I can continue with part 3 next. The home's walls were nearly finished, growing sturdy under careful hands and determined hearts. But these walls meant far more than shelter. They were a symbol of a mother's enduring fight to protect her child in a world full of hardship. The relentless heat and humidity seemed insignificant compared to the struggle beneath, the mother's unbreakable spirit driving her to build a future for her son. Her name was never stated, but she embodied the qualities found in many women who face poverty and uncertainty in Vietnam. She was a pillar of unwavering love, sacrifice, and strength. Every day, she balanced persistent labor on their home with tender care for her son, Tony, whose presence lent her life meaning and hope. Tony was quiet and attentive for a child so small, almost aware of the weight her sacrifices bore, playing gently while she worked. His love and gentle spirit offered a comforting balm amid their harsh realities. Their surroundings reflected the typical challenges of rural or semi-rural Vietnamese life, where oppressive heat and waves of humidity battered the body. But the true harshness came from economic insecurity. Completing these walls was a significant milestone, not just securing protection from storms and heat, but building a sanctuary of safety and dignity. Every plank and nail was a sign of hope, a stride toward survival grounded in love. Visitors sometimes brought kindness into their modest lives. One man, recently returned from a business trip, showed himself as more than a stranger, bringing clothes and milk for Tony, gifts that spoke volumes about the precariousness of their situation. These moments of generosity, when help was so needed and rare, nourished the mother's faith in community and human goodness. The mother's life was a nonstop balancing act. Her day stretched between demanding physical labor to finish the house, care for daily needs, and constant attention to Tony's health and happiness. Her hands were raw but gentle, weaving care into the hard tasks of shelter building. She had recently obtained medicine that helped Tony recover from illness, a small victory in the ongoing struggle against adversity. Emotions simmered beneath her practical life. The weight of being the sole guardian of their future pressed heavily. Every act of building the home, every decision to endure heat or exhaustion was underscored by the hope that Tony's future would be better than her own past. Their time together was both a sanctuary and a challenge. Tony's questions about her absences revealed his deep need for security and connection. Her sacrifices were profound. Comfort she forewent, dreams she delayed, all in service of Tony's well-being. The social fabric she navigated offered little help to a young, single mother trying to rise from poverty. This layered hardship demanded not just endurance, but immense courage. Opportunities for work were uncertain and seasonal, yet she planned to seek jobs as soon as their home was secure. Her approach was pragmatic yet hopeful. First establish safety, then seek income to sustain and improve their lives. The awareness that steady work was essential brought new focus to their fragile existence. Tony influenced every choice. His growing independence was a delicate balance of needing tenderness and learning resilience. His simple joys, playing quietly, asking to be carried when sleepy, tasting a well-earned meal, were reminders of what they fought for. To the mother, every small success cemented her determination to guard and nurture her son, preparing him for a world more challenging than she wished. Their story reflects thousands of similar narratives, quiet tales of mothers whose sacrifices and hope build foundations for children's futures under the hardest conditions. Often unseen, these women's strength and love shape generations silently but powerfully. Their lives are testimonies to resilience, shaping a better tomorrow through enduring love and unwavering faith. The finishing of their home would mark a new start. Thoughts shifted toward work, education, health, and dreams for Tony's happiness. Though challenges loomed large, hope remained steadfast. The walls that cocooned them offered not just protection, but a base for rebuilding life. This is the tale of a mother's devotion and the human will to rise with love at the core, even when faced with relentless trials. Life carried on with relentless pace under the scorching sun. The walls of their home, once mere dreams and fragile wood, now stood firm, a fortress crafted by strong hands and fiercer determination. Yet the completion of the house marked only the beginning of a deeper struggle. The physical barrier against weather and danger was in place, but an even greater battle awaited within the confines of everyday survival. The mothers stared at their new shelter with equal parts relief and resolve, knowing full well that securing a roof was just one piece of a much larger puzzle. Beneath the surface lay the unyielding pressure to secure enough food, clothing, and education for her young son, Tony. Financial hardship clawed at them every day. Without a partner to share the burden, the mother bore full responsibility for their livelihood. The market for work was harsh and unpredictable. She navigated seasonal hiring with cautious optimism, knowing that labor was both scarce and physically demanding. Many days she was forced to stretch each coin as far as it would go, selecting only essentials for Tony: diapers, milk, clothing, and medicines. Each purchase a careful decision between need and scarcity. She bore the relentless weight of these choices with quiet courage, mindful that every decision could affect Tony's well-being. Her sacrifices multiplied under the harshest conditions. Sleep became a precious commodity, often sacrificed for long hours spent laboring or securing daily needs. Meals were measured for nourishment rather than indulgence. There were moments when the exhaustion seeped into her bones like a cold shadow, when her spirit flickered with doubt and fear. Yet no matter the ache within, she would not allow despair to take hold. Tony's future was her North Star, the reason to endure every hardship with unwavering tenacity. Society's gaze weighed heavily upon her. Though progress in cultural acceptance had softened judgment towards single mothers in urban Vietnam, whispers and glances from neighbors or relatives carried silent, often cruel stigma. The mother lived with the unspoken burden of critique and misunderstanding about her status, a shadow she felt in markets and schools and public spaces. Her strength was sometimes tested by the loneliness compounded by these social barriers. Still, she refused to surrender to shame, drawing strength instead from her love for Tony and belief in their shared worth. The emotional toll was profound. A loneliness deeper than physical isolation often accompanied her days. Friends and family could not always provide the support or understanding she needed, and societal taboos sometimes kept her isolated and silent. Quiet moments when Tony was sleeping or playing nearby often revealed the weight she carried, a mix of longing, pride, and quiet sorrow. She buried these feelings not for lack of vulnerability, but to shield her son from fear and uncertainty. Her resolve to maintain a refuge of safety for Tony was unwavering, even when it demanded the sacrifice of her own emotional needs. Time was a relentless enemy. Every hour was accounted for between labor, caregiving, and household duties. The idea of rest seemed a distant luxury. There were days when the mother wished fervently for more than 24 hours, so she might both work enough to provide and spend precious moments with Tony. Her world was a balancing act between meeting material needs and nurturing their emotional bond. These competing demands shaped her every step, compelling her to navigate one challenge only to face another moments later. Tony grew amidst these trials, his childhood framed by love and quiet hardships. The mother sought not only to shelter him from poverty, but to nurture a spirit of resilience and hope. She dreamed of a life where Tony could study, play, and grow freely, where hardship might be a chapter but not the entire story. She knew this would require more than shelter. It would take education, stability, and community support. Every modest achievement in daily life fueled her belief in this vision. Their home became more than a shelter. It was a place of learning and growth. The mother taught Tony through example, showing him the value of hard work, kindness, and patience. She shared stories of courage, hoping to imbue in him the tools to navigate a world that might not always be kind. Even in moments of exhaustion, her voice carried warmth and encouragement. In their small sanctuary, fear of the unknown was met with hope and the promise of new days. Health was another continuous concern. The mother vigilantly cared for Tony's well-being with the scarce resources available. Recovery from childhood illness was a victory not just of medicine, but of persistent attention and love. She battled worry about illness compounded by poverty and poor living conditions. Maintaining health was essential to all else. Without it, work and dreams would falter. Her vigilance was constant, fueled by maternal instinct and fierce dedication. The mother's social life was minimal but poignant. Occasional visits from kind neighbors or compassionate strangers brought moments of connection and relief. These brief interactions often included practical help, gifts of clothing or food, and also offered emotional sustenance. The mother absorbed these moments deeply, each a reminder that despite isolation, kindness and compassion still existed. These gestures, small but significant, renewed her faith in humanity when the world felt overwhelming. Education stood as a beacon of hope. The mother envisioned Tony's future filled with possibilities far beyond her own experience. She understood that schooling would be Tony's pathway out of hardship. Although balancing work and caregiving left little time or resources for extra lessons or activities, she protected his right to learn fiercely. Educating Tony was not merely a priority, but a fundamental necessity for his future stability and happiness. Despite relentless hardships, moments of joy and laughter punctuated their days. Tony's playful spirit, his innocent smiles and small gestures of affection brought light to the mother's weary days. They shared simple pleasures, playing quietly, preparing meals together, celebrating small milestones in home building or health. These moments, precious and fleeting, were crucial emotional anchors. They reaffirmed the mother's mission and strengthened her resolve. Her dreams were larger than their immediate circumstances. She imagined a life where Tony would grow with dignity, education, and the freedom to choose his path. Her sacrifices were investments in this dream. Yet she understood that dreams required more than hope. They needed practical steps in a world often indifferent to single mothers and poverty. Her journey was one of quiet perseverance through systemic challenges, societal prejudice, and daily scarcity. Tony's growth mirrored the evolving challenges they faced. As he moved from infancy to toddlerhood, his needs expanded beyond survival to developmental milestones. The mother adjusted, seeking resources and adapting her care. Though sometimes fatigued and stretched thin, she remained attentive to his needs. Every step of his development was a testament to her care, resilience, and love. Emotions rarely showed in grand displays but simmered beneath the surface. The mother frequently felt exhaustion, loneliness, and pressure, but she folded these feelings into a quiet dignity, choosing to present strength for Tony's sake. Her story reflected more than individual struggle. It was a mirror of many Vietnamese single mothers who balance overwhelming obstacles with fierce love and hopes for their children. Community support, whether formal or informal, played a survival role. The mother navigated various aid sources and social networks cautiously, accepting help but maintaining pride and independence. These support systems, though sometimes limited or inconsistent, were critical. They allowed her to secure essentials and feel less isolated in her journey. In the evenings, when work slowed and the day waned, mother and son shared moments of closeness. These quiet times were sacred, opportunities to reconnect and find comfort. Tony's sleepy eyes and gentle presence reminded her of why she endured. They drew strength from each other, a duo united not just by necessity, but by profound love. The narrative of this single mother and Tony is reflective of broader societal shifts and continuing challenges in Vietnam. Increasing numbers of single mothers face struggles of finance, stigma, and endurance daily. Yet these women also embody extraordinary strength, courage, and hope. Their stories illuminate resilience in the face of adversity and the universal power of maternal love. The mother's journey is a tapestry woven from sacrifice, determination, love, and hope. Walls of their home stand as silent witnesses to the battles fought and won. More than shelter, the house is a landmark of survival and dreams. Their future remains uncertain, but the foundation laid with sweat and love promises possibility. As Tony grows beneath this protective roof, the mother's aspirations for him flourish with each passing day. She remains steadfast in her commitment, ready to face whatever challenges arise next. Together, they embody the quiet resilience of countless families striving for a better life. Their story closes on a note of hope built on unyielding love, a testament to the enduring spirit of a mother's care amid the harshest realities.